right, guys. So, man, I'm super excited about this gentleman we have on tonight. Stephen Richardson, one of the legends in the industry. I heard so many great things about him, the things that he's done in other companies, how he's built big businesses. Man, he is a wordsmith when it comes to scripts and dialogues, having conversations. This gentleman here, he's a master at it. So I want everybody to really lean in, take some notes. We are recording, but lean in, take some notes. We're going to allow some time for some Q&A, but you really need to hear what this gentleman is doing. He's enrolling more ambassadors than most people in the company, 50 ambassadors in the first 60 days. Just a connector, a people person. He's a good man, good gentleman. I don't run with everybody, guys, but this guy, Stephen Richardson, man, we've locked arms and we're going to be doing this thing together. So without any further delay, Stephen Richardson, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. OB. Can you hear me and can you see my screen?
Let's see. Do we see the screen?
It says I'm sharing. Can you see it? No?
It says, welcome, Dream Team. We're glad you're here.
That's it.
Okay. Awesome. Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I am extremely happy and grateful and privileged and honored to be allowed to talk to this team and to this leadership. And I've been invited on this call to share some information. But first things first, let us definitely appreciate our fearless leader, Mr. Rod Obi. Some of you have figured out that I'm a visual kind of guy. And if I was to describe Mr. Obi in a series of pictures, I'd pick this one. I'd definitely take a picture of him on his boat. I'd take a picture. I'd have a picture of him doing something before, during, or after church. I'd have a picture of him in front of a house he just sold. He is what we call a pinnacle leader, somebody who you don't just follow because of position and because of what he's done, but because of the quality of human being that he is. And I'm so happy and grateful and blessed that he is part of my life and part of everybody's life who's on this call. So why are we here on this call? I was invited on this call, as Mr. Obi has shared, because I figured a few things out with regard to the ambassador program. And it's my goal to basically share with you not only what I did, but how every single person on here, if you choose to do so, can duplicate that success. And even though you've heard my voice before and you've seen my face from here and there, I've never properly introduced myself. So for the record, I am Stephen V. Richardson, hailing out of the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area. I happen to be living here, back in the house I grew up with, in my father's house, 92 years old, kicking and screaming. Been his primary caregiver for the last 3 years. And I'm happily married. Most proud I am to say is I've been happily married since 1985, proud father since 86, sales and communication coach since 87, full-time entrepreneur for the last 20 years. And I've done a few things, I've been a few places, and I am extremely excited to be here as part of the Powur family because I know where I am in history and in my life. And, I really look at this call and even this opportunity with Powur and being in the renewable energy space to be an opportunity to really hit the reset button. So regardless of how long you've been within Powur, I know that some of you have just been in for, maybe even a few days, if not a few weeks. I actually have my camera off on purpose. I want everybody to be focused on my voice and what you see. So I'll get the camera back up there later on. But to really hit the reset button, and it's really an opportunity, reset in what you understand you're a part of, who you're partnered with, how you can actually help others. And this is what I share. I've kind of grabbed some slides from different presentations I give to whether it's potential business partners or actual people who I'm talking, having conversation to help them with their energy costs. And that is, we are all already part of the platform economy. And what I challenge people to really think about is, do you want to just contribute to the Powur economy, or are you going to take advantage of leveraging it and actually benefiting from it? And there's some familiar logos on this screen, and many of them people use on a regular basis. If you have a smartphone, then you have the ability to have leverage of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So I'm extremely excited. And when I go through these next few, just to kind of soften the soil for what we're going to talk about, I really want people to understand that this is our company. So when I say 30,000 installations, you should say, we have 30,000 installations. That's a powerful statement. We've done $1 billion in the last, basically in the last 4 years. We paid out over approximately $82 million in commissions were paid last year alone. Third-party validation is the strongest in the industry. Being a certified B Corporation, if you don't understand exactly what that is, you really should, because it really sets us apart from every other company, not only in our industry, but across the world of business. Inc. 500, the last 4 years in a row, top fastest growing solar company. Better Business Bureau, AAA rated, last time I checked, 5-star Yelp reviews. Let's just say we know what we're doing and we've kind of figured it out. As Mr. Obi shared on his map previously, these are the states that we are legally and fully operating in right now. Also includes a brand new DC that's not on this list, but it just shows you what the power of the platform is. Why am I so excited, and why do I believe that every single one on this call should be excited? Because where we are in time, in let's just say our profession, a lot of times you'll hear the phrase timing and positioning. Now, during my 15 years in the direct selling industry, we use timing and positioning, but typically we're talking about a specific company, ground floor opportunity, lock in a position of equity. We've heard those terms before, but the reason why this moment in time is so exciting for each and every one of us is because the timing and positioning refers to the industry itself. So when you look at the fact that it took 70 years to have 5 million residential solar installations. Residential solar has been around for 70 years. It took that entire time to get to 5 million installations. We just hit it in the last month or so. But to know that over the next 10 years, what it took 70 years to happen, it's going to happen again. 90 million homes are currently qualified for the 30% income tax credit, and less than 5% have already taken advantage of it. That means that out there right now, across these beautiful United States, 86 million homes are ready to upgrade to solar. All they need is someone to let them know. And as my son and I are sharing with this little picture is, what I'm sharing with you right now is not necessarily for you to share with everybody. It's for your armor, so that when you go out there and have those conversations and make those offers and those invitations, understand what you're inviting people to do. You are blessing people's life with the opportunity of power, whether it's on the homeowner side to help them potentially save tens of thousands of dollars off their energy costs by upgrading to solar, or whether it's an individual who's looking to earn some extra income during the normal course of their time around their existing schedule. So how has Powur been able to achieve so much in such a short period of time? Our system, our proven system of success. I'm sure you've seen it before, but I like to use the word save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. You're leveraging a proven system of success to share it with the world. It's not just the ambassador program. It's not just our third-party validation. It's not just where we operate across the country. It's not just our world-class back office or our marketing materials or our world-class training and mentorship program or our project tool. It's everything combined, where literally it is a business in a box, and you could leverage it to some amazing heights. Now, I know how much it costs to start a traditional business. It costs a lot of money. And basically what you get with a traditional franchise is you get a logo and you get a system of success, and then you have to start from scratch. But that's not what we're doing. So I used to ask the question, do you believe? Do you believe what I just shared? Do you believe what you're part of? Do you believe in the industry, in our leadership, and in our company? But I really want to ask the questions, do you understand? Because you don't have to believe in gravity for it to work. It's going to work anyway. So to understand where you are in history, who you are partnered with, how you have the ability to help so many people all over the world, whether it's to help with their energy costs or to help improve their overall financial situation. That's a pretty powerful question to have asked and answered. And then a question I might have asked on a previous call before is, do you care? Do you really care about helping those people who you say you want to help? Do you really want to care about the community? Do you really want to care about the planet? Do you care enough to simply share this opportunity, to share the information, to take people from not knowing to knowing about how we could help them? If there's one point I want you to cover to understand on what I'm sharing with you today, it's really this concept that I wrote it out a long time ago. I've been talking about this for over a decade, and that is the success of your business will depend on your organization's willingness and ability to properly connect with enough people, enough times in a short enough period of time in order to identify those few people who allow us to help them, with zero connection of what they do or don't do, say or don't say. This is everything. So the question is, do you want to do this business all by yourself? Or do you want to have help? Because you have a choice. If you want to be the only one sharing this information with homeowners or with potential business partners, if you want to be the only one for your personal organization, then, God bless you. If someone asks you how many hours in a day, that's a trick question. There might be 24 hours in a day for someone who just started, the Powur journey. But Rod Obie has more than 24 hours a day because he has so many people in his organization. He has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours working for him, whether it's in the solar space or whether it's in the real estate world, because he knows about the two sides of the business. It's not just acquiring customers and providing value to them, but it's also duplicating that success through others. It's so easy to get distracted by all the things we could be doing, especially if they're labeled income-producing activities. We got to meet new people. We have to connect with the network. We have to have productive conversations. Yeah, we're getting utility bills and follow-up calls. And once everything's done, they got to sign contract installations, all that kind of stuff. Don't get distracted by all this stuff. My challenge for you is to understand that my humble personal opinion, there's really one thing that gets people paid in this business. And that is giving energy savings report presentations, period. Everything else supports it, may or may not be directly connected to it. But at the end of the day, no one is buying solar. No one is giving us money. No one is providing for their families unless we are giving energy savings reports. Now, if you're going to give a top three, yeah, you could put this energy savings reports. And also, if you choose not to do this business all by yourself, you're giving business or opportunity presentations, either you or your senior business partners or mentors or whoever you lean on for that. And you're also enrolling ambassadors. Now, who are ambassadors? I believe everybody who I interact with is an ambassador for me. Now, we've seen lists before. This is the one I happen to create myself. And for the record, if you have not rebuilt your list in the last 30 days, then there's still a lot of opportunity on the table. When you started out, if you didn't go back to scratch, turn everything off, have uninterrupted, focused time where you are actually building your list, old school on a piece of paper, then there's still so many people out there. Our single goal initially is to take people from not knowing to knowing who we are, who we're partnered with, how we've helped others, how we might be able to help them and people we care about, and allow them to at least know. And then if it's right for them, awesome. If they come across people who we could help, that's even better because the numbers are bigger. So the power of list building, it's an art that not many people master. It's an art that very people really try to focus on. But I challenge each and every one of us, talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you, is to go back and rebuild your list as if today was day one. No matter how successful you've already been, and we have some amazingly successful people, not just in their previous lives or continued lives in other industries, but even already in Powur. friends, family, former classmates, coworkers, clients. I'm not going to go through this entire list. Every organization you've ever been a part of, every business who you support, who does your nails, who cut your hairs, who you bought your cell phone from, people who are babysitters or plumbers or retail workers when you go into a store, truck drivers, Uber drivers, all these people, the most powerful concept of this page, these are not people, these are categories. So when Mr. Obi is so kind and so generous, and he gives you the lowball goal of getting 100 people, that's not for the people who I believe are on this call. Because every single one of us, for every single one of these categories, has dozens of people who we could write down. Dozens. That means that if we're serious about simply enabling everyone in our universe to understand what we're doing, who we're partnered with, how we can help them, how we might be able to help people who they care about. If they don't simply know, what are we doing? What are we doing? So obviously, out of all that list of people, the people who have a track record of being the most successful ambassadors are professionals who touch homeowners on a professional and regular basis. Realtors, anybody who does something door to door, plumbers, electricians, mortgage brokers, landscapers, insurance agents, financial advisors, roofers, home security, HVAC, etc. Here's the conversation I have with, let's take an example. I had a plumber come by my house and fix a faucet outside a little while ago. It was leaking and we couldn't stop it, so we had to call somebody to take a look. He came out to the house, young guy, did a great job, charged me $60 for his services. So as we're having a conversation and as he's doing his thing, I'm asking him how long he's done it. He's, a few years. Do you like it? Yeah, it's great. What do you like about it? Just typical conversation. And then as he's writing up the bill for $60, he said, what do you do, sir? I said, well, I'm actually in the renewable energy, space. I guess this is the first thing you really should take a note. Have you partnered with a solar professional yet? Have you partnered with a solar professional yet? That's a question you could definitely ask every realtor every mortgage broker every financial advisor definitely every roofer every single person who professionally touches a homeowner on a regular basis. A natural question that you could ask and should ask is, have you partnered with a solar professional yet? So when I asked that question to this guy, he said, no. Why do you ask? Well, it's interesting because I have partnerships with people like you who touch homeowners every single day. Let me ask you a question. He said, yeah. I said, when you walk up to a house to do your thing, maybe you're fixing sprinklers or changing some pipes or whatever. When you walk up to the house, those houses either have solar on the roof or they don't, right? He said, yeah. I said, during your conversation with that homeowner, if you happen to ask a simple question like, you guys ever thought about upgrading to solar? Could you ask that question? I asked him. He said, yeah, I could ask that question. I said, if they say they are considering possibly upgrading to solar at some time, all you would have to say, another thing to take notes on, there's someone I'd love to introduce you to. His name is StephenVRichardson. He actually helps homeowners like you save a lot of money off the energy costs of upgrading to solar. I don't know if he can help you, but I'd love to introduce him to you someday. Could you say that? He said, yeah. I said, if you simply introduce homeowners who are open to having a conversation with a solar professional to see if we could possibly help them save tens of thousands of dollars off their energy costs by upgrading to solar. If you made a simple introduction and we walked them through the process, we shared some information, we answered all their questions, and they happened to agree that it made sense, when we install the solar, you get $1,000. He said, really? I said, yeah. Hey, by the way, what's your email address? He gave me his email address. Why? Because when you build a relationship of credibility and trust and you ask a simple question, they typically answer. So I asked him, what is his email address? He gave it to me. He already gave me his business card. So while he's loading up his truck, I'm just going on my phone, acting like I'm doing something because I am. What do? I have an iPhone. I go to my notes section. I go to the section that says ambassadors. At the very top is my invite link. I click on the link. I enter his first name, his last name, his email address, his phone number, his language, join. That took about 30 seconds. He's still standing right in front of me. I said, hey, I just sent you an email. Take a look and see if you got it from Powur. Pulls out his phone, goes an email. Yep, here it is. Hey, do me a quick favor. Hit verify real quick to verify it's you. And then create a password real quick. Let me know when you're done. Took about another 40 seconds. He said, I'm done. I said, congratulations. You are an ambassador now. If you ever decide to be serious about what we just talked about, and you simply introduce somebody to me so that I can have a conversation and walk them through the process. If they agree to upgrade to solar, I'll give you $1,000. He said, wow, that sounds pretty cool. I said, yeah. I said, let me ask you one more question. He said, what? I said, when you come to a house like you just did, you came to my house, you did a great job, you gave me $60. When you do work at a house, when's the next time you're probably going to go back to that same house? He said, probably never, but maybe, I don't know, a year, 2 years or whatever. I said, what if you could provide so much value to that homeowner that you could help them not only save potentially tens of thousands of dollars off their energy costs, but you could get paid, in addition to your 60, you could get paid an extra $1,000. How would that sound? He said, that sounds pretty good. I said, that's what the program's all about. Here's something, I know we're being recorded. Who knows where this recording is going to go. Here's something that I do with all respect to all the great things that are done on the Powur platform. Choose my words carefully. I believe that currently we overcomplicate the ambassador program. I just got finished talking to somebody, helping him understand how simple it is to earn $1,000 by providing value to either a client or maybe even someone he cares about by simply introducing them to me. As soon as they enroll in the ambassador program, they're going to get bombarded with emails. An email immediately coming from Powur saying, welcome to the ambassador program. You're ready to get started. You're going to be able to upload your first utility bill. Here's a link to some training, and we can teach you about microinverters and the solar industry and house. Like, stop. I keep it simple. I literally tell people, and once again, this is just my personal humble opinion. I tell people that they're going to get an email from Powur. I say, initially ignore the email. It's going to make this thing too complicated. I will show you exactly how simple it is to simply introduce people to me and my business partners so that we can have those conversations and you can get paid. Don't worry about the email. So I kind of got off track, but hopefully everybody through their translator can see how you can have this same conversation, especially with other realtors, but also with the financial advisors, with the roofers. If you ask them a simple conversation, when you sell a house to somebody, when's the next time you're probably going to be able to provide value to that homeowner? Now, you'll call up to see how things are going. You'll call them up to see if they happen to know somebody who also wants to benefit from your great services. But being able to provide value to that customer typically means they need to buy or sell another house. But now you have the ability to give other people in your profession, if you're a realtor, the ability to provide so much value that you can help them save typically tens of thousands. I've seen my share of presentations now. I've been officially on the platform since December, didn't officially get started until February. I've already seen my share of presentations. I've seen my share of proposals. And every single proposal I've seen, we've helped a homeowner save at least multiple 5 figures. So name me anything that we have the ability to help somebody save that much money. And is it easier to help somebody save money or to earn money? I'm thinking save. So when you add that much to a bottom line, it becomes powerful. Now, here's the zag in what I've been saying. When I've been talking about ambassadors and this ambassador program and what ambassadors could say to people who they interact with, whether it's friends or people on the professional level, you think I've been talking about somebody else. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about us. Because last time I looked, if you are not a tier 2 especially, but not a tier 3 seller on the Powur platform, all we do is invite. All we do is set appointments. We couldn't sell if we wanted to because we're not allowed, because we don't know anything yet. That's okay. You can make literally the equivalent of a tier 3 seller if you simply learn the power of inviting, of introducing, of setting the stage, of doing what people like Mr. Obi and Mr. Neal do so well, and that is simply edify somebody. We're all ambassadors. We're all Powur ambassadors. We're all ambassadors for the renewable energy market. When you think of yourself as an ambassador, hopefully that simplifies the story that you're telling yourself and the story that you're telling others. Now, once again, the stories that we're telling. When you're explaining the ambassador program to somebody, what are you saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm saying something like, I have a personal goal over the next 12 months to give out $50,000 in referral bonuses. Do you happen to know anybody who'd like to get some of that money? That's why I call it Project 50,000. Everybody on this call is actually part of it because I've expanded to include not only people who I personally sell, not only people in my personal organization, but if I'm able to impact somebody, to help somebody earn $1,000 through this program, that counts to my Project 50,000. So I've already shared with you some specific examples of what I say, and I'm going to try something just for a minute. If I mess it up, I mess it up, but I practiced a few times. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to share one more thing. Sharing my screen. So far, so good, Mr. Obi. Good stuff.
Woo! Man, this is fire.
I'm just getting started. Hold on, I'm just getting started. All right. This is an example. Hold on. This is an example of me enrolling a brand new presentation. I'm giving them a presentation about how I'm going to help them save money. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. This is a presentation for a potential seller. Okay? So while I'm giving a presentation that we give all the time about the business opportunity, during the middle of the presentation, I enrolled another ambassador. I do it like clockwork. So hopefully you can hear this. Everything I've talked about. All right, that sounds great, Stephen. You know, how can I get paid? How do we make some money? Once again, the easiest way is you or other people are coming on board as ambassadors. They're simply referral partners. And right before this call, I actually sent you an email. See if you got an email from Powur. I'm not sure if you can pull out just for a second.
All right.
See if you got an email from Powur.
I'll just check my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it. Did you send it to my AOL?
Yeah, whichever one. That's okay. I'll
here we go. Oh, no, I found it.
You got it? Okay, cool.
It didn't come up. Yep, I have it.
So just literally click confirm on it and take 30 seconds to create a login. I'm showing you how simple this is. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah.
So that's how easy it is, not only to enroll as an ambassador, and that means from this point on, if you ever, and you actually encounter these people every day, even though you don't realize it, if you ever happen to simply come across the path of somebody who is a homeowner or a business owner who owns a building, but we'll talk about homeowners right now. If you ever cross the paths of a homeowner who might be interested in saving money on their energy by upgrading the solar, and you say, hey, there's somebody I'd love to introduce you to. His name is Stephen Richardson. Blah, blah, blah. Here's his number. May I give him a number and you guys can have a conversation, see if he might be able to help you. And I do what I do. I do what you did at a very high level. And they decide that they want to upgrade. When the system's installed, give you $1,000. That is literally during the normal course of your day, around your existing schedule. Ask a couple of extra questions, make an introduction, and you can add, and you can do their own math on what you think is possible. So that's a piece of why we've been able to grow so fast, is because we just have this built into our lead generation system. Why not reward the people who are introducing people as people we never come across and possibly not be able to help? So hopping forward real quick, almost done. All right. So hopefully you were able to hear that, and the volume was low on my side. We're going to go a cappella for a minute. So far, so good, Mr. Obi? We looking good?
Good stuff, sir.
Good stuff. All right. So if you were paying attention closely, you have received the kind of golden nuggets. First and foremost, I believe that you should never send an invitation link to anybody. Send them the welcome link. I believe that for a timing standpoint, you should always invite somebody to enroll into the program while you are actively engaged with them. If I just sent the link, if I just sent even the invitation link to everybody who I enrolled so far, I think maybe 20% would have actually enrolled. If I had done it like voicemail or text message, then I think it would have been, no more than half. The art piece of this is the feeling of the timing and knowing that when I'm interacting with somebody, and you saw it when I did it with the plumber, and you might have seen it when I did it during the presentation. The guy did end up being an ambassador immediately. He wrote it during the presentation. My last 3 sellers start off as ambassadors. If somebody is not willing to enroll as a free ambassador, and all I have to do is introduce somebody to us and get $1,000, how am I supposed to expect somebody to take time out of their schedule and spend a certain amount of money a month and be a seller? I just don't see the logic in that. Now, once again, this is a minority opinion, and it hasn't really played out long term, but so far, I envision every single person on this call and everybody who will listen to the sound of my voice, every power seller should have hundreds of ambassadors. Just imagine if you got good at having a conversation with somebody and helping them understand whatever your number is. I challenge you to have a project. Decide how many sales you want to have over the next 12 months that include an actual referral from someone who's not in the business. Put a number on it, put a project on it, and let them know, hey, by the way, I have a project going on where over the next 12 months, my plan is to give away $50,000, $100,000, $10,000 in referral bonuses. Do you happen to know somebody who might be interested in getting that? That's a potential ambassador. It's a potential seller. It's a story that I can share with people. So invite link, welcome link, actively engaged. It works exponentially better for me when I am talking to the person as opposed to back and forth text. Now, if I'm doing it via text, and let me see if I can do this. If I'm doing it via text, then I will send the same information. Hold on. Here we go. We're going to do this one, this one, this one, and this one. All right. So this is an example. And once again, I don't prefer this, but sometimes I'm communicating with somebody on Facebook, on Facebook Messenger or whatever, and we're just going back and forth. I could show you, I had some screenshots ready to show you an example where, I'm the guy who on a holiday, whether it's Memorial Day or 4th of July, or it could be the 1st of the month, I will send out messages to as many people as I can, just saying hello, getting back on their radar. How you doing? How are the kids? I'm a new grandpa. Just something. Happy birthday, whatever. And then if they pop their head above the radar and we're texting back and forth, after I'm asking them, what they're doing, how their business is, whether they ask me the question or not, and typically they do, how's it going with you? How's your business going? Here's what I text. I'll text. Last year, I expanded my consulting business to include renewable energy. I didn't say I just started renewable energy. Nobody wants to partner up or trust somebody who just got started. But it took me a while to formulate the language of my story to say, I've expanded my 20-year-old consulting business to include renewable energy. Okay, awesome. It sounds more powerful for somebody in real estate to have been expanding their real estate business to include renewable energy, to enable them to provide more value to their homeowners. That sounds more powerful than my story. The key is I am very good at getting somebody's email address. If I have their phone number already, and if I have their email addresses off to the races, if I don't have their email, during the casual conversation, hey, by the way, send me an email real quick. Without question, 99% of people send it to me. Awesome. Now I have their name, I have their email address, I have their phone number. We're good to go. I send them this thing. I send them the message while we're talking, and I refer them back to look at the email. I just sent you an email. It's from Powur. It's an invitation to be one of my renewable energy partners. You can read this later. And then I basically just ask them to sign up. So that's really what I wanted to share with you, and I will kick it to questions. Just kind of a side note, if someone was to look at these pictures, people believe what they see. I give them something to see. You would think I'm selling systems all over. I haven't sold any systems. I sold a $17,000 battery last week. So but on one of the calls, one of the successful people who are on these calls said, take pictures in front of solar panels. Okay. Anytime I see a solar panel that I can get in front of as a backdrop, I will take a picture. And this is part of my social media campaign. This is part of my reach out campaign. Well, I'll just send somebody, now I put the graphics on there. I play with Canva. I just say hello. I say happy and grateful Thursday. I say happy birthday. I say, trust me as your solar person. So just there are really 3 reasons why we have as many ambassadors as we have right now. We're thinking about it at a certain level. Probably could be higher. We're doing it a certain way, and we're doing it a certain number of times. So you can tell that I have done this a few times, even though I've only been part of Powur actively since February. And even since February, my daughter's in the hospital. My granddaughter was in the hospital for over a month. So life has happened for me too. But I invest the time in practicing what I'm going to say, crafting my story so I can have a conversation. And for the record, I personally want to learn as little about the details of solar as possible, because that's not my thing. I know that I can get the questions answered about the financing, about the compatibility, about all the great stuff. I'm learning those things. I'm not allowing them to distract me from the main thing, which is to properly expose enough people enough times in a short enough period of time to allow those people to allow me to help them with zero connection on what they do or don't do. This is something I always share. I've been sharing this, information for a while. But for this group, from what I see of the amazing servant leaders that we have as part of the Dream Team and part of Powur, but especially the Dream Team, this is just a list. And maybe Mr. Obi is smiling right now. This is a list of what I personally encountered during my 15 years with a direct selling company. And each one of them was a valid reason on why I could have quit. whether there's no one supporting you, whether the resources being scarce, whether it was a health challenge for me or someone in my family, whether people betrayed me, whether the dream killers, whether my belief is challenged, whether it was harder than I thought it was going to be, whether the comp plan got changed, all these reasons you can have to quit that people will say, yep, that makes sense. But at the end of the day, quitters quit and winners win. And this call has such amazing individuals who's already helped so many people who have what I believe to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They don't come by very often. For those of you who are in real estate, knowing what you know now, if you could go back to the very beginning of EXP and be there in that room or on that call that Mr. Obi was on, where he was in the low 100s, knowing what you know now about EXP, if you could have been a part of it at the very beginning and done your absolute best to maximize what you could achieve, would you have done that? Would you go back and do that? That's where we are now. That's what's getting ready to happen. It is a mad dash to simply identify 86 million homeowners who, some of them, want to upgrade to solar. And if we just have the armor and just have the compassion and just have the belief that we can take people from not knowing to knowing, walking them through the process, being identified as their solar connect, and now we can go out there and help these people. I am so excited. I don't know what to do with myself. So with that, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And that's really what I wanted to share with the family, Mr. Obi. So kicking it back to you, sir.
Woo! Powerful information, Mr. Richardson. Come on, let's give it up, guys. Put a one in the chat or come off mute.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Good stuff.
Wow, good stuff. OMG. Let's open it up for some questions, guys. Q&A. What question do you have for Mr. Richardson? It's being recorded, so you can also go back and listen to the recording.
So the first statement, there really don't necessarily need to be any questions. It's really self-explanatory. The biggest reason is people just don't think about it. And then they don't practice enough. I'm not calling anybody out, but people know who they are. And just borrowing some of the verbiage that I have found has worked well for me. But so much of it is posture. And so much of it is just the timing of being able to have the information and just make sure that it's just smooth. It's just smooth. That's all. Not complicated. If anybody wants to have a conversation offline or any of that stuff, feel free to do that. But it's not complicated. It really isn't. Keep it simple.
Hey, Mr. Richardson. Hey, this is Tim Neal, man. Fantastic presentation, man. I took pages and pages of notes. I mean, you are a master at this thing, man. And I'm thinking, man, he explained it and made it so simple. Why am I overcomplicating it? And I appreciate that. And got some ambassadors and definitely looking at getting more. So what's some of the next steps? Like for the ones that I've already got, they signed up, became ambassadors. And that's kind of where they're at right now. They're sitting, and I just haven't, I send them a little information. But what's kind of the proper way you've seen, since you have so many ambassadors? Because I know you have a Facebook page that you reach out to your ambassadors. So what's a couple of tips to stay in contact with those ambassadors without overwhelming them to say, hey, I want you to be in sales, but I really want you to just think of me when you have that conversation with somebody about solar?
Absolutely. Excellent question. That's what most people will say, especially people who are, let's just say, attached to the traditional way of building this business, which is just to get sellers. And if you find an ambassador, that's great. But for the record, we did $100 million out of the billion that Powur has done. Over 100 million was through ambassador sales. So it's nothing to laugh at. The other thing is, initially I was more interested, and I still really am, is getting someone in the system as an ambassador before worrying about having the conversation. Life and business is all about timing. That's why I understand that people have stuff going on, but if they're in the system as an ambassador, then if they ever happen to think about solar for themselves, I'm guessing they're going to call me. If they happen to hear somebody talking about solar they're going to think about me. So it's just that connection. If you do it, if you invite somebody into the program improperly, it becomes more and more awkward to invite them again. I've found that because not every single person who I've invited to enroll has actually done it. The majority of the people who didn't, I did it via text or via email. But getting back to your question, you know, I'm almost willing to challenge you as an elite realtor to say, how do you follow up with people who you've either helped as a client or who just they know, trust, and respect you, and you can have them as a potential reference. I do enroll people in the Facebook page that I have, and it's really just staying connected and sending them information, sending them success stories, and also just giving them enough. And if you have looked at the Facebook page that we have for the Powur Ambassadors, you'll see that the information I'm sharing is helping them understand how simple it is, giving them specific questions to ask, helping them understand how simple it is, maybe giving them some general information about solar or maybe the utility costs in the area. Those are really how I'm doing it. And right now, I'm not focusing on scaling something that's not solid yet. So that's why most of my success and most of my interactions on the ambassador side, once to activate them, has been one-on-one. And there is a statement that I use for people who have either agreed just to introduce people to me, but especially to be part of the program, and that is when I'll say Tim, when you agreed to enroll as one of my ambassadors, were you serious about earning some money, those $1,000 checks, or are you just supporting me? They're gonna tell you. Okay. Yeah, when you sign up, if you did it just to support me, I appreciate that. But we're giving out a lot of money on this program, and all you have to do is introduce somebody. Would you allow me to teach you how to do that? So I haven't scaled big time and teaching, doing big trainings, but I am creating content, I'm doing videos, and I'm giving it access for them to basically do it at their time. But here's the punchline from my perspective. I get 300 people who, if I don't give any other challenge to everybody on this call, especially the brand new people, simply take everybody in your universe from not knowing you're part of solar to solar, to knowing that if they ever consider, and these are my personal words, but if they ever consider the possibility about getting enough information to make an educated decision on whether they should save tens of thousands of dollars off their energy costs by upgrading to solar, I'm your guy. Give me a chance. And when you come across people, which is more likely, then when you hear about somebody talking about their electricity bills or talking about maybe solar or who do they know, then just say, and teaching them exactly what to say, or more importantly, what to ask, is really the key. That's why I teach them how to say things like, there's someone I'd love to introduce you to. That's a key. That has served me for 15 years. There's someone I'd love to introduce you to. And just introduce me. Don't worry about my resume. I'm Stephen. You know who I am. Father, husband, entrepreneur for 20 years. I've helped people, save money. I help people make money. He might be able to help you. The last thing I want anybody to do is sell for me on my behalf. Maybe I'll caveat that by saying, of course, we lean on the tier 3s because that's their expertise and that's their role. But I'm talking about ambassadors. I don't need them to know about solar. They just need to know how to connect with somebody and introduce somebody to me. So hopefully I answered your question, brother.
Thank you.
I think I'm over time. So back to you, Mr. Obi.
You're good, brother. I don't see any guests on it. I do want to acknowledge Guy Allen, good friend, my personal mentor in the business, in the real estate where Mr. Guy Allen's on, and he partnered with us a few months ago. So welcome, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Rod. I'm sorry. I'm moving around here this evening, but yeah, I did invite a gentleman, and hopefully he was going to come on, but it didn't make it. But
okay.
Congrats on all your success.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'm glad to be in partnership with you again in the renewable energy space. So
right,
welcome. So
big guy, my guy.
Yeah, that's the.
How you doing, Tim?
Well, hi there, our guy, Mr. Allen, is the man.
Hey, am I artist?
That's
There it
Emma.
is. There it is.
What? Oh, this thing gonna blow up in there. Let's go.
Every single one of you who are already positioned in real estate, who have helped so many people over the years, help them make one of the biggest decisions of their life in choosing a home or selling their home. You have such an opportunity to simply help them do something they couldn't do in any other situation. When you really look at the power of helping somebody save tens of thousands of dollars over the ownership of their home, what other opportunity do we have to do that?
Right.
They already trust you. They know who you are, even they might have been thinking about you for a while. And the people who've been the most successful have simply gone back to them. And in addition to their normal follow-up calls and how you doing, when anything changed, everything I can help you with, all that kind of stuff. Hey, by the way, you don't have to say recently. I don't know if you know this. I expanded my real estate business to include renewable energy. Have you guys ever thought about saving money off your energy costs by upgrading to solar? They're going to tell you something. They've thought about it. Okay, that's the conversation. They haven't thought about it. Really, you haven't thought about it yet? I'd love to share some information with you because I could potentially help you save a lot of money. Are you open to having a conversation with me and my design partner? So
Powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Richardson. Appreciate this. Hey, let's give it up for Mr. Stephen again. Any other questions, guys? Anything for him?
Yeah, he makes it so simple that it's actually frightening to realize that that's all we got to do.
Life is complicated enough. Let's just keep it simple.
Absolutely.
All they have to do is make an introduction. I mean, back in the day, and we all know. I know who's on this call, even though I don't. Back in the day, an introduction could be as simple as, "Hey, bro, someone wants to talk to you. Here's the phone." We did that before.
Oh yeah. Right.
We did that before. So it's just removing it. It's really just going back in the valley. We've been on our particular mountaintops, and we got another one we want to climb. But we as my mentor once told me, you don't have mountaintop experience. You got to go back in the valley, and that's where the conversations are. Where not everybody's going to allow you to help them, and not everybody's going to believe you, and they're going to have something to say. But at the end of the day, we know the value that we're able to provide. Absolutely. If we just take people from not knowing to knowing, and in my introduction, I failed to say, in my 15 years, I was able to, I personally sponsored a couple hundred people. My organization had a couple thousand. We did we sold a few $1 million worth of coffee. And the biggest reason why I came over here is I believe it's as easy to sell a solar system as it is a case of coffee. And a case of coffee, I get a few $100. Solar system, I can split 7,000. That's it.
Come on. Powerful. Question, Evan.
Yes, I just have a situation I want to run by you guys and see if you guys can kind of guide me along the way. I have a close friend of mine who just moved to New Jersey. When I told him I was in renewable energy, he was like, "Yeah, we got to talk to him." Now he seems to be kind of like holding back a bit, but he did mention something about wanting to be an ambassador, right? He did mention something about that. So my thing is, like, if you become an ambassador, but you haven't gotten solar yet, how are you going to explain to your neighbors why you haven't gotten it? So I'm kind of like working my mind, like working around, like, okay, how is he going to communicate to somebody they should talk to me if he himself hasn't taken advantage of solar yet?
So with your permission, I'll take that. I'll take this one. The first thing I would do, he's your friend. You have his phone number. You may or may not have do you have his email address?
Yeah.
While I'm talking to him on the phone, or maybe right before I call him, I go to and you have to make it simple for you. That means spend the visit once to your back office, go to marketing, go to the ambassador join link, copy that link and put it somewhere easy to find on your phone, in your notes section at the very top, whatever page you want to have it. That way you can get to it in 5 seconds. And while I'm talking to this guy, talking about the ambassador program, that, by the way, I have a personal goal of giving away however many $1,000 in the next 12 months. And I'll say, hey man, but I just sent, taking a page from what I've done and what I just shared. While I'm talking to my friend, I say, I just sent you an email. It's from Powur. Take a look. Because while we were talking, or maybe even before I picked up the phone and called him, I went to the link, I entered his first name, his last name, his email, his phone number, the language, and joined. And now it's sitting, the welcome is sitting in his email address, is in his email box. Go to email real quick. I just sent you an email from Powur. Let me know if you got it. Got it. Do me a favor. Click verify real quick to verify it's you. Create a password. Let me know when it's done. He's in. That's the first thing. Get him in. As far as his, let's just say, personal stories of integrity of how could he talk about solar, just let him know. I don't know if solar's right for you. I haven't even figured out if it's right for me because I just found out that my friend is in the solar industry. All I know is he and his business partners are helping people just like you save tens of thousands of dollars off their energy costs. I thought you might want to know about it. May I give him your number? That's it. So what possibly is happening, with all respect, that story, did he tell you that was his concern, or you have that concern that he might have the concern?
No, he hasn't sent me his bill, and it's been about 2 weeks. I'm like,
okay, that's all right. So I mean, we're kind of in a different level of the training as far as getting the utility bill. When I'm talking about the utility bill, once again, I keep it very simple. I help somebody understand. First and foremost, I don't know if solar is right for you. I don't know if it makes sense. The only way I'll know to make sense is to understand how much you're using energy and how much you're paying for it. So all I'm going to need from you, I'm going to need copies of your utility bills. Personally, forgive me, I get 12. I don't get one. This is just my personal opinion of what I've seen and what I've experienced. I want a clean proposal. I want an accurate proposal. I don't want to be oversizing or undersizing systems. I need the last 12 months. Otherwise, it's all guessing.
yeah.
So if they can get in online to their bills, they can get in all of them. I just let them know. Once you figure out how to get in there, if you don't get in there all the time, which means you really don't know how much you're paying, that's a different story, then it'll take about 5 minutes to send me the copies. So all I'm going to need from you, so that we can have a conversation from going to the theoretical to what if it makes sense or not, I'm just going to need copies of your utility bills. I'm going to ask you what your utility box looks like. I really want you to take a picture of it so I can look at it and see if there are slots available and what the amps is. And I'm going to ask you the age and condition of your roof. So I set the stage for what they need to give me. And once again, I just make it real simple. Not a big deal.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you. Very helpful.
My pleasure.
Thank you again, Mr. Richardson. Awesome presentation.
My absolute pleasure, sir. Anytime.